right, we are live. I'm kind of half on and half off at the moment. Moving a little slow. Still with it though. All right, so I don't. Damn it, my water. Honestly, I feel like I've got something to say today. I could have done a regular video, but I thought maybe a live stream would be better. Tried the eternal search to get comfortable when you're a Parkinson's patient. I guess what I wanted to talk about today, for whoever shows up, is accepting what is. That's hard. It's been really, really hard for me lately to accept that this condition is not going to go away, and just gets tougher and tougher. Now, I'm going to start off by saying that, but what I'm going to say is we've got to find a peace in ourselves somewhere. By the way, like my Purple Rain shirt, this one's from Michelle. We got to find a peace or somewhere in our center to deal with this stuff. Oh, my neck. And I've been kind of gloomy lately. I'm going to take my hat off. I just shaved my head. It's almost 90 degrees here in St. Louis. My basement is still cool. But I've been trying to figure out a way to accept this monster that's never going to go away. And I guess I have to kind of find that hidden strength somewhere within myself. Honestly, I was driving today and I realized my days of doing that are might be over. And that's hard for me because I've always been an independent guy. I had my old Grand Marquis, 84 Grand Marquis, my first car. I would always drive around my neighborhood, go skateboarding, my motorcycle, later my truck, and then my second Grand Marquis, and then my third Grand Marquis, and then my Taurus, and then my Buick. And I've always just been kind of like, not a wander far, but I like to kind of, stroll the grounds, my neighborhood, and I'm realizing that's coming to an end, and it's really hard for me. I've got an 84 Lincoln Continental, 81 Lincoln. Beautiful car. I don't think, yes, I do. That's the kind of messed up thing is, like, I love that car, but my days of driving are coming to an end, and that's hard to accept. But I've got to find somewhere in myself the ability or the fortitude to accept that. It's not the end of the world. My wife still drives me around. I still go places. But I'm not going to be able to go roaming like I used to. And that's really hard as a guy who just turned 50 to realize I'm not going to be able to just hop in the car and go. For a while, I would, I got a heart. Thank you. For a while there, I would stagger in and out of the car because my legs didn't work so much to carry me, but they would work to work the pedals, and my arms, while they were sort of uncoordinated, I was still able to drive. It's gotten really, the dyskinesia, basically after I work out in the morning and eat breakfast and stuff and do some chores, I basically sleep all afternoon and then get up and just sit in one spot and hope the wiggles aren't too bad. It's messed up, and I've been 13 years into it. It's not like, I'm thirsty. It's not like this is all new to me, but once again, it's another layer on the onion. Hey, I'm thinking so, Mike. A lot of accepting in that sentence. I'm assuming there was a little humor in that, but it's just, you can't fight it. You can, and I've watched people fight and struggle and try to arm wrestle this thing and pin it to the mat. And Parkinson, you will never. Hey, what's up, John Butters? Yeah, it's an awesome car. My wife, the brakes aren't working at the moment, so we're going to get that fixed in July, and then my wife will probably drive me around in it. I'd say it's a very comfortable car to drive. But I guess I kept thinking that something would happen, a medication or surgery. And as anybody who's followed me, I'm not doing DBS. I'm not doing focused ultrasound. Hey, Christy, what's up? Mike's lovely wife, right? Am I right? Am I getting that right? Yeah, it's so it's I knew this day was coming, but that yep. I knew this day was coming, but it's really hard to accept. And I've talked to numerous parkies and people that with other neurological conditions that can't drive, and it's kind of like the last chink of my normalcy, if that makes any sense. My wife would say I was never normal. Ha ha ha. Thanks. At least I could get out and drive. I could, maybe I couldn't walk very good, but I could drive. It's just, hey, Pauline, it's just difficult. Now I still podcast, and that's one thing I can still do. Kevin, yes, I did. There's a video. I think it's called "Playing Guitar with Dyskinesia," and I show myself playing when I'm off my medicine, and I show what happens when I take my medicine. I can barely stand up, and that's frightening. In fact, a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I think at this point, maybe two, I'll run together. I had taken some new medicine, and I had dyskinesia so bad that I was picking up my son from camp, and I had to sit in the car and wait for an hour, hour and a half before my legs would stop twitching all around. Frightening. So I immediately got off that medication, but there's no easy way out of this one. I've just got to accept it. And I'm telling you, it's been something I've been intentionally ignoring. I've not really made a video about driving with Parkinson's because it's just the one hurdle I didn't want to have to look at, but now I'm having to look at it. And so what are your experiences? I know we got some early diagnosed people, but are there any people in here who have lost their license or given up their license because of Parkinson's? I'm interested to know. I know my buddy David Gebhardt over at Life with Parkinson's. He did it several years ago. It's just not fun. But I did. Okay, on the bright side, I got a good visiting with my buddy Sam. Those of you who follow me on Facebook and Instagram probably saw the pictures of me with Sam, my musician buddy. Yep. Well, Mike, hopefully you got a long road ahead of you because you just recently diagnosed. You stay busy, brother. I think you'll be all right for a while. But honestly, 13 years of being able to drive, that's longer than most people. A lot of people. I know some people that have given up way earlier than that. So it's another chink in my independence. Like my wife wants to go on like a little vacation to this little lodge. It just isn't that far, but it's like I tell her it's not fun for me. I sit in the cabin. I can't get out. If I do get out, I'm slow walking and stiff. My arm shakes. There's a restaurant on the property. If I go down there, I'm too disconnected to eat. I remember trying to eat a salad last time I went there 2 years ago. It was like it's like a weed whacker, just stuff flying everywhere. It's not funny, but I have to make it funny. And it's hard to tell her it's so difficult for me to be outside of my little bubble where if I don't feel good, I go lay down on the couch. I know where the toilets are. I know where the snacks are. I know where the TV remote is. Very, very important. And, the hardest thing I ever did regarding Parkinson's was quit my job. And I've talked about that before when I had the walk of shame out of the building, which I shouldn't have been ashamed, but I was. Yep. Mike, that's kind of what I did at my warehouse job. I realized I was having trouble with off periods, and I didn't want to have an off period when I was driving a forklift. And there was a time where I was dyskinetic, and I went to turn, and I ran into the rack. Not bad, but it was like bam. And I realized that maybe I wasn't the safest driver, which is kind of funny because my dad, they called him McDamage. I worked at the same place as my dad. He couldn't see out of one eye. He had no depth perception, so he wrecked stuff. I didn't want to become McDamage version 2. So yeah, I had to like give it up. And it's always better. I always say this with athletes, Mike. You'll know what I'm talking about with athletes. Better to get out a year too soon than stay a year too late. The stakes are different, obviously, but it's sad to see athletes that stay a year too long. I mean, we can think Brett Favre, Tom Brady, going down the list, Tiger Woods. Get out while you still have well, it's your decision. And I remember that was the hardest thing to do. But when there was peace, although there was a lot of grief when I quit my job, I think there's going to be peace, but also some grief with losing my ability to drive. My license expires next year, so I knew I was coming down to the wire anyway, but it just sucks. It really sucks. And I wish there was something I could do about it, but there's not. So we got to learn to accept. I've been doing some meditating. I do those guided meditation things on YouTube. Yes, Father Time. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I tell myself. And here's another thing. I'm going to switch subjects a little bit. But it kind of ties in. I saw somebody that I hadn't seen in over 2 decades. And I saw her at the store, and she looked quite a bit different. And I didn't recognize her at first. So I was looking at her and not trying. She was like an older lady. So it wasn't like I was gawking at like some hottie or something. Pervert me. But I was kind of looking at her out of the side of my eye, and she stood up. Sorry to hear that, John. But she walked by me, and when she walked by me, I could tell that I recognized her. I knew for sure it was her, but she looked a lot different, and I thought, part of me was like, well, that was kind of rude to walk by me and not say anything. But the fact is, I look tremendously different than I did 26 years ago, 25 years ago. Whenever the last time I saw her, although it was thinning, I had a ponytail, I had dark sideburns. I still had the mustache, but I dyed it so it was dark. And my hat on backwards, no glasses. Cool guy zone. So imagine this a little bit younger with a ponytail. But when she saw me, look like this. Now, I've looked at myself in the mirror, obviously, numerous times, thousands of times in the last 20-something years, and I'm used to how I look. But this person just literally didn't recognize me. Instead of getting butthurt about it, I just kind of had to accept it. Honestly, I'm glad I don't look like I used to. I wish I didn't have so many wrinkles on my forehead, and I wish my mustache was still dark. But I got to be honest with you, I don't really miss my hair that much. It was thinning out on the top so long that it looked like a rat's nest. Like the wind would blow, and I'd have like 5 hairs go. So, but I do miss, like I told my wife the other day, I just turned 50 a couple weeks ago, and I said, if it wasn't for Parkinson's, I'd grab my skateboard and just go off to the skate park today. It was really nice weather. And I said, obviously I'm 50 and have a debilitating illness. I've accepted that I can't skateboard anymore. But to accept that you can't drive anymore is a lot harder. And just like I've had to accept the way that I look, my being bald, which I've got, like I said, I've gotten over. I've kind of got some like the crow's feet or my eyes, and the dyskinesia. I can see that, Mike. I can totally see you look like Beaker from the Muppets. Yeah, I could. Yeah. Well, Yep, gift that keeps on taking. And like I said, I thought I was prepared for this, but I guess I'm not. And I'm not saying I couldn't go drive around the block or something just to get out of the house. But the days of me cavorting around the area are over. The gift that keeps on taking. Yeah, that's the truth. Ain't that the truth? I thought I was ready, but I guess I wasn't. By the way, thanks for everybody for tuning in today. YouTube has been kind of a slush pit lately. AI, don't get me started on AI. But it's nice that we got 5 or 6 or 7 people in here. I really do feed off your energy, and it helps me to know that you're out there. Yep. Like I'm sure this lady that I saw, I'm sure she's like, doesn't want me to compare to her much younger self for 26 years. Because, she'd be like, that's not fair. You can't compare me to my younger self because I was 26 years younger, 25 years younger. So, but anybody that knows me knows that I don't. Thanks, Mike. Always glad to see you out there too. that I've always been like, I think when I got married, my sisters told my wife, who is their friend, they said he will be stable as a rock. And that I have been I've also been stubborn as a rock too, stubborn as a tree. Uh, but I do miss that ability to just be calm in the middle of a storm, or to be able to like drive my wife where she needs to go, or I mean, when I'm off, I'm not much help. Then I can't even really make phone calls. My hands shake too bad. I can't push the buttons. So accepting what is, just and it's not defeat, because I've seen some people, and everybody handles it differently. But I've seen some people going real. I mean, they post real aggressive videos and say have Parkinson's, and I get it. I really get it, because I feel that way too sometimes. But I feel like that that is the worst thing for me to do. Yeah, aging sucks no matter what, and that's what people have told me. Like some of my ex coworkers are like, we are all getting older. Do a live stream of Michael J. I don't know him. He doesn't know me. I have no way to do that. If you know him, please pass my number along. But yeah, I've actually sent him my album, the Michael J. Fox Foundation, my album twice, maybe three times. Haven't heard back. They're more interested in fundraising, and Michael at this point I think is probably pretty limited on what he can do. I don't want to speak for him, but I know he's in a wheelchair, and the thing that gets underreported in Parkinson's is exhaustion. I know he actually did a meet and greet with like Esther Shaking in My Boots and some other people, which probably took a lot out of him. 96. Honestly, somebody, maybe it was you, Mike. Somebody told me I'm going to live to be 100. Like, no, please, please don't put me through that. Um, I wish I could just write a good ending and know exactly how my life was going to end, and end on a happy note. I watched my grandma suffer. I think it was from colon cancer. Maybe it could have been pancreatic cancer. I could be wrong. And to watch her suffer for months and months and months. And I don't think she was 70. I think she was mid 60s. So I'm 50 now. If I get another 15 years out of my sorry ass, I'll consider it a success. My wife don't like hearing me say that. She wants to, hey, what's going on, Sarah? Did you get my email? Yeah, I don't want to be too grim, because I mean I've got listeners and viewers out there that are older than 65. But I'm telling you, dragging this Parkinson's gorilla around for another 15 years, can't even imagine, can't even think about it. Which I'm not. Um, Yeah, my best friend Adam died 10 years ago, and I was so jacked up I couldn't even get in to do eulogy or whatever. Oh, Sarah, you're with three. Better you than me. I'd be, yeah, my mustache hair would fall out at that point. Um, yeah, that was rough too because of Parkinson's. I couldn't walk right. My friend died. Now it was his I guess celebration of life or whatever. I couldn't even get in. It was a mess. Had a panic attack. I wanted to get up and say something, but my friend died tragically. And when somebody dies tragically, what do you say? I mean, at least, I don't want to diminish your thing, Mike, but at least your uncle was 96. Nobody's going to say, "Oh, he went too soon." Even he probably wouldn't have said that. Nice, nice. Um, yeah, but it's nice to chat with you people. Yeah, Christy. Yeah, I mean, I've had a friend recently who had a parent pass in their 90s, and I I know they were sad, but at a certain point, you're like, oh my god, just the weight of this life, the weight of this burden of just life alone can wear you out, much less Parkinson's. But we don't get to write our own endings, and I have no idea what my life might bring. I mean, I hate AI, but there's a chance that AI could, I guess, come up with a better solution than Cinemet for Parkinson's. I know my last video was kind of poo-pooing the, or one, I think it was my last video, kind of poo-pooing the idea of a cure. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. I've been in the game 13 years, and I've had people, shouting from the rooftops, "There's new treatments. There's going to be a cure," and it's like sticking a needle in my stomach is not my idea of a better treatment. I got a tube going into my intestines is not my idea of a better treatment. Now they got the slow release Sinemet, but this Sinemet, as you'll probably see in a minute here, because my dyskinesia is probably starting to kick in. It's a BI itch. By the way, I've not given up on music, folks. I know I haven't really done anything lately, but you can get my music at on Spotify and Apple Music. John Butters. That's a crack up. Is that a New Zealand thing? I guess we say you're cracking me up here. I feel like I'm jumping all over because I'm answering questions here, but I feel like, thank you, Mike. I feel like that I've been put on this earth for no other reason than to make people laugh, and if it's because of Parkinson's or something, ow, my foot. Oh, the dystonia in my feet. Try having dystonia and dyskinesia at the same time. Hey, John, have you listened to any of my podcasts? There's some really funny stuff on the Homeschoolers from Hell podcast. I'm uncensored. It's me and my buddy Adam, and it's definitely blue, but I got some really, really funny stories on there. In fact, my wife, who's heard all these stories a million times, we turned on one of the podcasts, the Homeschoolers from Hell podcast, and she was laughing out loud. She said, "Wow, you were really funny." I was like, "I'm getting a compliment on being funny." She's like, "Yeah, you were on a roll." So it's kind of cool to be able to have like a podcast of a bunch of friends. So when you put it on, even though these people I haven't seen most of them in over a decade, some of them passed on, be able to it's like we're having a little party again. It was really nice, and I've repeatedly said that. But yeah, for anybody listening that wants to listen to Homeschoolers from Hell, it's stories about I was homeschooled as a kid. I was very sheltered. And it's kind of like the story of me meeting the world, kind of like that show Boy Meets World, but it's kind of blue. It's not for everybody. There's a little bit of punching down in there. Me and my friend Adam, or make fun of each other, or make fun of everybody else. I'm relaying some of the funniest and best times of my life, or some of the most tragic times of my life, depending on what it is. But the thing about me and Adam is we could always laugh at each other, no matter how sad or down we were. And one thing you will find in the Homeschoolers from Hell podcast is two friends that can say anything to each other. Maybe we shouldn't record it at all, and then there's also my podcast, You Said What, WHAAA ? With Michelle, who used to do slow dancing with Parkinson's. That's a little more tame, and that's my current one. Nice. John, like I said, email me, jmagpodcast@gmail.com once you listen to them. This might be you may like Homeschoolers from Hell better than you like me on here, because it was 10 years ago. I had just been diagnosed. I had just got Sinemet, so I was feeling fine and frisky. I can't say because I don't want to ruin the monetization, but there was a little hippiness, if you know what I'm saying, hippiness going on in the background. Really proud of those. And I mean, the one thing I guess I could say is that Parkinson's has not stolen my voice. I know a lot of people that have, and I know DBS I've heard sometimes can cause a lot of problems. I'm like, I would rather be able to talk than do anything else. If I could just sit in a chair, even if I wiggle, I can talk. I've just got, people have told me I'm naturally funny. I don't know if that's true. I think I try to be funny, but I think maybe like John said, maybe just naturally funny. So maybe we'll just have to go with that. Wow, we can go in for 24 minutes. I only expected to be on here a few minutes. This is nice. Got a lot of good people coming in and out. By the way, did anybody go to the Parkinson's World Congress? I did not. My friend Jennifer Sullivan did. Check out her page, Wiggles Project on YouTube. And I think my buddy David Sangster from the UK went from Manchester. He always makes fun of the way I say that. No bed. Yeah, Julie Albrighter. Look her up. Jules from New Hampshire. Oh, Thank you. You know, Sarah, I was watching some Howie Mandel today, and I was like, you know what? I kind of look like that MFer. It's just weird that you would say that. I was just thinking that when I came on because I think he's got some blue glasses too. These blue glasses, of course, are a tribute to one of my favorite musicians, singers, Ozzy Osbourne, as anybody who follows me knows. But you're right, Howie Mandel, he stole them too. But yeah, but DBS, Julie Albrighter from New Hampshire. I don't know what her handle is on Instagram, but she said DBS, it has changed her life. But she's also not nearly as far along as I am either, and her symptoms were different. And it's like, yeah, germaphobe. Yeah, Howie Mandel's a germaphobe. But like I thought long and hard about it. Actually, went to my consultation for DBS, and my neurologist really wanted me to do it, or my with a twist of Ozzy. She said we can. Yeah, she said we've done this on 70-year-old men, but the thing is, the things that are most important to me are my voice. Yeah, Mike, I've been in it 13 years. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't have any benefit for it, but I mean, honestly, I've got a tremor and I got dyskinesia. So what am I gonna treat? I don't. It's just like, and I tell you what, I'm terrified of them getting into my brain and messing with my sense of humor. It sounds silly in a little vain, but how horrible would life be if they got in my brain and I couldn't? My sense of humor changed. I'm really afraid of personality changes, and I've looked into the focused ultrasound to actually heat up your skull and like burn out the cells in your brain. I guess the mutated cells, and then some of the side effects of that are bad headaches, lightheadedness. Some people have speech problems, not a lot of people, but balance issues. I got the devil I know. I always say that I got the devil I know. I don't really want to jack with the devil I don't know. I kind of know what this devil's going to do to me from time to time. To add a variable plus, I've got a 14-year-old kid at home. My wife is self-employed. She works a lot. The burden on my family, and I know you could say, well, the cost benefit. The burden on my family for the recovery time, if it even worked, it'd be just I can't. So many reasons I'm not doing it, but maybe Mike, for you or somebody that's a little older that doesn't have kids or doesn't have quite the weight of responsibility, maybe it'd be perfect for you. Like I said, don't go by me. Please don't make your decision based on what I said. They told me I was a good candidate for it. They made me do the count backwards from 7 and say what day it was, what week it was, who was president the last 3 times. And unfortunately, I won't talk about our presidential situation here because this is not a political podcast. Let's just say I would like to forget maybe the last 3 presidents. Yeah, so there you go. Last 3, at least the last 3 elections. So, yeah, but please, I mean, like I said, make up your own mind. I mean, I was approved, but I'm like, I can't do it. And then when I started thinking about him drilling in my head, and I guess what really bummed me out was when I found out the Vyalev, the subcutaneous pump, it wasn't a patch. It was a patch with a needle in it. That's sorry, folks. I mean, I'm not scared of needles, but I don't want to have to stick myself in the stomach with one every morning and every night. Can't do it. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. All right, I'm about to cut this off here. We got a good 30 minutes in. Thanks to all who came, participated. Love every one of you. Love seeing your faces or hearing your text. John Butters, check out my Homeschoolers from Hell podcast. And those of you who don't want to be offended, don't check it out because it is Jeremy Unfiltered. Jeremy Mack. All right, peace and love, people.